I'm a little more conservative that way. I'd rather have a company that's smaller and profitable than have one that is trying to continuously grow and always needing new capital and not quite getting to that bottom line. So that's who I am as a business person.
Hey guys, this is Sid Patel, CEO of Beverage Network. I'm here with Tremaine Atkinson, CEO of CH Distillery, and a big brand, Malört, which is an iconic brand of Chicago. He also runs that. We're going to chat about the role of a CEO, how he's navigating 2024, and what are some of the things that he looks for in a business when things go, a different direction. Really, apart from pretty much the nitty-gritty of, sales and distribution, what kind of metrics you look for? You're running a big operation here. You have other brands as well. CH Distillery is your production facility. So I'm sure there are other metrics, but if it nails down to your KPIs, let's say investors are overviewing, or you yourself are seeing your performance, what are the KPIs for your role?
Yeah, well, the first thing is that my role has changed so much. I started the company from scratch 10 years ago, and I made every batch of vodka for about the first 6 years. And what's happened over time is that I've evolved into being a CEO, a CFO, a HR specialist, kind of all of the above. And so for me, really the key metric really for the health of the business is very simply the bottom line. After about 5 or 6 years of running losses, you have to get to the point where you...
Oh wow, you had losses in operation?
Oh yeah, we had for that long because we kept reinvesting ahead to try to generate growth, and that's true for I think a lot of startups. But then you get to the point where it really is that simple, is that you need to start turning a profit.
Yeah, got it.
And of course, sales growth, if I'm going to look at one thing other than the bottom line, it's very simply sales growth. Top line, 100%. Because again, if you're fighting from, for zero to try to make something,
agreed.
You've got to have top line.
So you think that, let's go top line, and then figuring out net profit or profits, it's still manageable. You just have to make some decisions, but it's manageable. But top line is an actual issue if it's a flat 3 months or 6 months.
I tend to look at it a little bit longer term, at least a year at a time, because there is such a seasonality component to the business as well. So I try not to really concentrate on month by month or even quarter by quarter numbers. I want my sales team focused on those numbers, and so we set our incentives on a quarterly basis, because it's important for salespeople don't tend to want to think about a whole year. They want to think about now, and you want them thinking about now.
Got it.
But I never make a judgment, and it's usually, to me, it's a couple of years that really tell the story. Particularly as we went through something, as such an exogenous shock as the pandemic. You had to sort of lay back and give everything time.
You have to sort of understand, be empathetic. It will take time to rebuild again.
Yeah.
Where do you spend your time more on? Hiring people, empowering meetings, or you also knock doors and you focus to get some key accounts, meaning like Kroger's of the world, you maintain them, or you also have your personal goal to get 2 chains a year. But where do you spend your time, your day?
It's very much driven by where I see my strengths, and I'm really good if you bring me to a sales meeting, but I'm not good at opening doors. And so I've hired, my sales team really runs sales. I tend to try to stay in the background a little bit more and I basically do all of the things that nobody else wants to do so that they are free to do their jobs. And I view my job as a boss is to give them the tools that they need to succeed. So I'm a little more of an operations kind of background kind of guy.
So basically, your team structure, right? Like how have you structured it? Sales manager, so on. So if you break me your direct reports, what kind of titles are those?
So I have a national sales director, a director of operations who runs the factory. I've got, since we have a restaurant, I have a general manager who runs that.
So that's part of big business as well, so that reports to you directly?
That also reports to me. And then the marketing team is a little flatter, but I've decided to sort of take over being the head of marketing for a little while at least.
Yeah, till you find the right person, I guess, who can take the initiative.
Yeah, and we were finding our voice, and so that was an important thing for me to be involved in.
Got it. So, apart from, let's say, what keeps you worried? You know, I'm sure there is something which you feel that is always like you have to check every day. You have to have a pulse on it. You know, which is sort of in a worry category right now these days. Like, how are you navigating 2024?
Yeah, as top of mind are people, because our business. Everybody says it, but it's true. It's our business is our people. Our people first and foremost. Because they make the product, they sell the product. There's nothing mechanical, there's nothing automated about our business.
So culture, you're worried that everyone's happy?
Culture, the right incentives, the right environment for people to succeed. That's what I spent. That's where, if there's stress in the business, that's where it comes from. Is trying to make sure that environment is the right one for success.
For the young CEOs out there, entrepreneurs who've tried, it's been 2 years and maybe they have a flat year. Let's say it's a decent sized business still, like $2-3 million there in 20 odd states. I'm just painting a picture, and it's been a couple of years of flat sales. How would you rethink the model? What would you do to go back to the top line and generate profit?
I think you have to be realistic about your potential market share. At some point, the market does tell you how interested they are in your product, and if you feel like you're maybe flattened out on your growth curve, you might get a different distribution model, but that's hard to do for smaller brands. And so when we sort of started peaking out on when our sales growth started to slow down on the CH product line before we got Malört, that was the point at which I said, okay, I think the market's telling us that we can't get 40-50% growth anymore. That's when I really started working on the bottom line and finding ways to cut costs without sacrificing either quality or the sales team.
Agreed. So no matter how much you try, the market is the market, right? It's telling something. So you rather have a sustainable, profitable, slow growth than in some of the things that are hitting back.
I think so, yeah.
Good point, yeah.
I'm a little more conservative that way. I'd rather have a company that's smaller and profitable than have one that is trying to continuously grow and always needing new capital and not quite getting to that bottom line. So that's who I am as a business person.
Great. One last one in Chicago, right? Like, the pulse of the market, the culture of bartenders, sommeliers. What kind of tips you have for brands who are trying to make relationships here? What do buyers like more? Like New York is more like business, give me the price. New Jersey, knock doors is like deal. What kind of things work here which buyers value?
Well, you said it, relationships. And relationships that are built on, the Midwest values are trust, accountability, hard work, and quality at a fair price. Those play here in Chicago. Very much Midwest values. Nothing too flashy.
And
I think you nailed nothing too trendy. Yeah.
Super. Amazing. Thank you for your tips.